What you guys, got another video on how to install and configure Ubuntu server. Quite a few of you wanted to see how to do this. You can put this onto a mini PC or on an old computer, or whatever it is you want to install this onto, but I'll show you the full setup and installation guide here. First off, you need to download Ubuntu server. Then you need to download Balena Etcher. This is to create your bootable media. If you see this in yesterday's video or the day before, you can skip this part, but basically you'll need this to create your bootable USB flash drive. Open it up, plug in your USB flash drive and select your Ubuntu server ISO. Now select the USB flash drive. Make sure you select the correct one because all data will be erased on that USB flash drive. So I'm going to click flash and this will flash the USB flash drive with your Ubuntu server. Once this is finished flashing, you will see the completed sign. There we go. And all we need to do is plug it into the computer and head into the BIOS and change the boot order to your USB flash drive that you've just created. So I'm going to come down to first boot option here and change this to our USB device here, which is this one right here. Then go over, use your arrow keys and basically go to save and exit. And we can now click save changes and exit. This will then boot to our USB flash drive and we will then be able to start to install Ubuntu. You can see here, try and install Ubuntu server. So we're going to click on enter here to boot to that option. Now you're going to see something like this, a load of code going up, and you can now choose your language. I'm going to choose English UK. From here, we're going to select done for this one. Now we're going to be choosing a base installation, which is Ubuntu server. You can also use additional options to search for third-party drivers. You can use your tab key on the keyboard to tab through the options and then use your spacebar to select that option if you want to do it. So let me go ahead and do that. Use my spacebar to select the search for third-party drivers. And now we can tab down to the done, which is at the very bottom of the screen, and push enter. We can push enter again because this is now done. These are our configuration for our network card. Everything looks okay for me. I can see an IP address there, so that means it's working correctly. This is where you can configure your proxy. It's gone a little bit out of focus, but we're going to push done here and continue, and it will configure our proxy for us here. That's now done, and we can now push done at the bottom of the screen. You can't see it because I have quite a large screen here and it's right at the very bottom. But basically we're going to continue on here with the installation. Now we can use the entire disk here. So I'm going to select the entire disk, but it's going onto the wrong drive here. So I need to use my tab key to tab down and change the hard drive that I want to install Ubuntu server onto, which is this one right here. I can push enter here and this will open up an option to change this drive if I wanted to. You've also got some other options here like set up the disk as a LMV group. I'm going to remove that because I don't need that. And I'm going to go back up to the drive selection here and change that drive to my NVMe drive. So push enter here. And now you can see that I do have two drives here. So I'm going to come down and choose that option right here. Push enter. And this will then select that drive. Now we can tab down to the done option down the bottom of the screen and push enter to continue on with the installation. It's going to tell us this is our storage configuration and that's perfectly fine. That's exactly how I want it. So I'm going to push done and push continue to basically go on to the next step of the installation. So let's go ahead and let that finish off here and we can move on to the next step, which is where we're going to create the account for this installation. So you can put your name up the top here. I'm just going to put my name as Brian because that's my name. And we can also then put the server name and you can call your server name whatever you like. Pick a username and a password. That's all you need to do right here. So let's go ahead and do that right here. I'm going to call my server Home Lab. You can call yours whatever you like. Username, Brytech, and a password here. You can just type this out like so. And you'll be needing this to log into your server. So once we've done that, we can click done. And you should now see skip for now. I'm going to skip for now because we don't need the Ubuntu Pro, so we can skip. And we need to install Open SSH Server here, so put the little cross in here by using your spacebar and push done and continue, because we're going to log into this from our computer. And now you can choose to install any of these options like Docker or any of the other stuff if you want to. I'm going to leave this blank for now. And now that's going to go ahead and start to set up and install our operating system for us and set up our server. So that part is now done. Once that's done, we can then boot into our BIOS again, pull the USB flash drive out and change the boot order from USB to our NVMe drive and then boot the system up. So we'll save these options, and then once it restarts, it's going to give us the Ubuntu right here now. We can push enter and it will then start to boot up the server for the first time. Once we get to the login screen here, we'll be able to head over to our PC and use a terminal to log into our server and do all our work from there. You'll see a bunch of code coming up on the screen. That's okay. We're going to configure this from the Windows system. So once you get to this page, you can log in and we can then go over to our computer, or you can log in from your computer using SSH. So I'm now on a Windows 11 based system. I'm going to right click on the start button and we're going to open up a terminal window here, and you should see something looking like this. We're going to type SSH space, the username at and the IP address that it broadcast on your server. If you see a warning remote host identification, we can then type SSH-keygen space -r space and the IP address, and this will do the known underscore host to .old, and we can now log back in and it should give us a fresh install here. So let's go ahead and do this. So SSH username at IP address, and you'll now see, do you want to do a fingerprint key? I'm going to say yes here, put our password in, and we're now logged in. So here we are, we're at the same screen as what we would have been on our server over there. So now we can type sudo space at space update and then put your password in once more, and this will go off and get all of the updates for your server, and you can see it's now downloading all the updates. It's telling us there's 25 packages that can be upgraded on our server, so let's go ahead and do the upgrade here, sudo space apt space upgrade, and it will go off and do all of the upgrades for our server. Now, if you want it to automatically upgrade, you can do this command right here, and this will do an automatic upgrade for us. Sudo space apt space install space unattended-upgrades, and you will see now it's going to set that for automatic unattended upgrades for us. We need to do another command here, sudo space dpkg-reconfigure space -- priority equals low space unattended -upgrades. I actually missed a D out there in the unattended, so I'm going to quickly add that in and do that command one more time here. You can see I just missed the D out on unattended. So let's go ahead and add that right in here and put the D in and push enter, and this will then reconfigure our upgrades for us, and this will do it automatically just in case you forget. You will see something looking like this. So I'm going to say configuring unattended upgrades. I'm going to automatically download and install stable updates and say yes by pushing enter, and it will go ahead and set that for us. Next up, we can do some other things on our server to get it more secure. So we need to check the firewall status on our server. It should be off by default. So let's go ahead and do this command right here, sudo space ufw space status, and you can see it says inactive. So we're going to enable our firewall. So let's go ahead and do that right here by typing sudo space ufw space enable, and this will then enable our firewall. Say yes, we do want to proceed, but we do need to now allow our SSH to go through our firewall because it will block it. So let's go ahead and enable our SSH through our firewall by typing out this next command, which will allow us to use SSH with our firewall enabled. So we'll just need to use this simple command here, sudo space systemctl space status space SSH, and it will tell you the status of it. And now if we want to allow it to go through, we can type this simple command, which I'll do next, which will allow us to use SSH with our firewall on. So we're going to go ahead and do that one right here by typing this simple command. We're going to be doing sudo space ufw space allow space SSH. And now you can see that rule has now been added, and we can now use SSH with our firewall enabled. So next we're going to do sudo space at space install space neofetch space htop. Say yes, and it will go ahead and install those features for us. And if you type neofetch now, it will give you some information about your machine. You can see here we're running the operating system. It tells us that, it tells our host, kernel, uptime, and packages and stuff like that. We can also use htop here, which will give us some information as well. These are useful features to have on your server. Again, once you finish with this, you can push F10 to quit this out and then go back to the actual command window. So let's go ahead and now install all essential media codecs in Ubuntu by doing this command right here. And this is going to go ahead and put all of the media codecs that you might need. I'm going to go ahead and install all of those, and you might see an agreement here. So just OK that. And we can now move on to the next one. The next one is just going to be installing VLC, because you might want to use VLC. It's going to say Y for yes. I'll leave all these commands in the video description for you. Now, if you want to install a GUI for Ubuntu server, then you can do by using this command here. If you don't want to use a GUI interface for your Ubuntu server, then don't do this part, just skip it and you're pretty much done. But if you do want to do it, then you can use these commands at the end. I'll make sure that I'll put them at the very bottom of the description of the video. And once you put this in, it's going to give you a GUI interface or a desktop environment. So once you've done this and install it, you accept their terms. It does take a fair bit of time to get installed on the system because we are now going back to a GUI interface. So when you boot up your server, when you reboot your server, you're going to have some sort of GUI interface on it rather than having working from a command line sort of window, which we're doing right here. So if you want to keep it like this, then skip this part out. I'll make sure I'll put that clear into the video description for you. So I'm just going to let this install. I'm only showing you this part because I know some people might want to use this part. But if that's the case, then maybe you could have used some sort of other version with some sort of desktop environment. Now, because you are installing a GUI, you can basically choose an option to what GUI interface you want to use. And you'll need to type in this next command, and you'll be able to choose from a bunch of different options available to you. So let's go ahead and I'll quickly set this up for you. So all you need to do here is type out this command here, sudo space tasksel, and push enter, and you'll see this screen here. Debian desktop environment, or you can go any of the other options available there if you want to. We're just going to use this top one here and push the space bar to select that. You'll see a little star going there. Now, like I said, I wouldn't necessarily install this myself. I would leave it as a server edition where we don't have a GUI and we can log in via SSH the way I'm showing you in this video. But if you did, then you can do this at a later date. It's just something that I wanted to show you and share because I know people will probably ask. But that's basically how you can set it up. It's very simple and easy to do. And that should get you up and running on Ubuntu server. These are the sort of basics really that you need to know. Again, I would leave the GUI part out if it was me and just run it from SSH from your Windows so you can log in. And you can also use other programs to log in and put files onto your server if you want to. It's a lot easier. Anyway, if you want to see any more videos like this, let me know in the comments section below. My name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. I shall catch you in the very next video. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now.